And welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show packed with fantastical facts and legendary lies. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian who recently shared a West End stage with Michael Ball and Imelda Staunton, which just goes to show that theatre security ain't what it used to be. It's Jason Manford. And a journalist and broadcaster who has written 5 books, which, interestingly, is just 3 more than Lee Mack has read. It's Joan Bakewell. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, an actor who starred as an Ewok in Star Wars, a role he wasn't very happy with, as wanted to be Yoda, he did. Warwick Davis. And a man who spends his life sniffing tarts and poking his finger into muffins. From the Great British Bake Off, Paul Hollywood. And so we begin with round 1, it's Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. And Warwick, we're going to start with you tonight.
When I got my first car, my friend and I would pretend to be cops, park up, eat burgers and tail cars we'd picked out of the traffic.
David's team.
How old were you at the time?
Well, I would have just passed my test, so 17.
What was your first car?
It was a Mini.
Could you indicate how you pretended to be cops?
We used to watch a lot of American films where cops normally sat in the car eating donuts and drinking coffee, and then they'd see somebody go by who might be a criminal, and they'd sort of throw the food and speed up. And so that's what we were doing, in essence.
So you were American cops?
Yeah.
And what were you eating?
Just normally a burger and some chips.
And how far would you let yourself get through the burger before you decide someone was a criminal and you throw it away?
Well, we let fate decide, really, because we would say the next green car that goes by, that's going to be the criminal.
How do you know how the police operate?
What happened when you caught up with them?
Well, we also set a rule that we would follow them all the way to where they were going.
It's starting to sound a bit sinister.
Yeah, this has changed now.
And when they arrived, then we would just carry on. We wouldn't confront them or anything.
And how far was the furthest you went in pursuit?
Bulgaria. That was a really crap weekend, wasn't it? When are they going to stop? The bloke in the front's going, don't stop, there's a bloke following us. I don't know, Bulgaria, just keep going.
How far was the furthest you went? Like more than a mile, 2 miles?
Oh, more than that, but we'd never go out of the county. We lived in Surrey.
Because you had no jurisdiction.
Did you exceed the speed limit?
Well, if they did, we would then lose them because we didn't have authority to speed.
What did you think they were guilty of? What were their crimes? Why were you after them?
Just because we'd been told to.
Who was telling you?
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Did you have little radios? All units, we're looking for a green Ford Cortina, registration Alpha Papa Papa Alpha.
Didn't know Alan Bennett was a policeman.
Here we go. He said, we're looking for a car, it's just escaped. If anybody happens to see it, do take chase, but don't get too close.
David, I'm holding you responsible for that one.
I thought he'd already done it.
So what do you think, David?
I think it might be real.
I think
it might be true.
He had a bit of fun.
Well, I think we think it's true then.
Yeah.
I'm going to say true.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis, truth or lie?
It is the truth.
Yes, it's true. When Warwick got his first car, he and a friend would pretend to be cops, park up, eat burgers and tail cars they'd picked out of the traffic. Next up, it's Jason.
I was gutted when I first saw Rob Brydon's Small Man in a Box routine as for years I've been entertaining my pals with my own man trapped in my mouth.
Well, first of all, a small man in box is a silly little thing I do that nonetheless shows great talent. and it's this.
Where are you? I don't know where you are. Somebody get me out of here.
Thank you. Now,
OK, can we hear the man trapped?
Well, I'd rather not because
You can't do it.
what it is like I never thought about doing it as part of my act or anything like that, but you know, it's like anything that's really, you know, that you think, oh, that's good, and then you see someone else do it properly and well, and you know, like Rob.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can't do that now because it's been done. Mine's amateur in.
We'll take an amateur version, won't we? We won't.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll take any old rubbish.
I'd be embarrassed
That's
to do it
why
on,
we want you to
on
do it.
BBC.
I think the only way we can really get a grip on this is if you were to give us a little something on
Yeah,
it.
you've got to give us a sample.
Just have some water. You know, it's like, Rob.
Careful, he'll drown.
Just warming up. just putting him in. The part of the trick.
Oh, you tend to put him in, do you?
Like,
Can I just say before you do it, that's a nice detail that you might want to consider.
Anyway, enough prevaricating.
All right. OK. I wonder what you're going to do.
Why don't I see if I can coax my little man in a box to have a little chat to the man you've got stuck in your mouth?
Rob Brydon chat-up line.
Here it comes. Ready?
How are you feeling today?
Do you think it's possible that Jason might have been lying in what he's been saying?
I don't know, because he could be better at it than he's making out.
no, I'll be honest with you. That's the best I've ever done it.
Tell you what we'll do. Just one last little try, and just the best it can be for us.
Panicking now. Panicking.
So what do you think then, Lee?
Warwick.
Well, at first I thought he was lying, but I'm tending to think now that he may well have done this.
Paul,
No, I think it's a lie.
You
I
think
think
it's a
he's
lie?
actually practiced as he's been doing it.
you think he's learnt that talent in the last 5 minutes?
I think that talent has really come to the fore in the last 5 minutes.
You think it's a lie? Warwick thinks it's true. I think it's true, because he did it well.
Think it's true?
I think it's true, because he did it well.
All right, you're saying true.
Well enough.
Okay. So, Jason,
Yeah.
were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was true.
Good start, Warwick.
Yes, it's true. Jason was gutted when he first saw my small man in a box routine because he'd been entertaining his mates with his man trapped in his mouth. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So, please welcome this week's special guest, Neil. So, Warwick, what is Neil to you?
Well, this is Neil, and he paid me to jump out of a tree in the park and propose to his girlfriend whilst dressed as an Ewok.
Paul, how do you know Neil?
This is Neil. He's my neighbour, and when he goes on holiday, I look after his parrot and take it out in the cage for a walk.
And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Neil?
This is Neil, and to prove my manhood, I once assaulted a womble in front of him.
So there we have it. Warwick's park proposer, Paul's parrot-walking neighbour, or Lee's womble witness. David, where do you want to begin?
Where to begin?
Yes. So, Warwick,
Yes.
Clarify exactly the transaction that you underwent with Neil.
He paid me to dress as an Ewok and propose to his girlfriend.
So, but if you proposed to his girlfriend, you then might have to marry his girlfriend.
No, he was on his behalf. I mean, himself and his girlfriend were huge Star Wars fans.
So you have got the costume at home just all the time?
Well, I was given one after working
Oh,
on
they
the
give you
film.
one. 'Cause
You ought to get that on eBay. Then you wouldn't have to jump out of trees and propose to people.
You're obviously a successful actor. You know, obviously been in Star Wars, and you must have been doing better than having to pick the little jobs like this up.
Yeah, but I mean,
He's here, isn't he?
there are sort of ups and downs in any actor's career.
I say it again, he's here, isn't he?
What was your line? What did you have to say?
Well, I hopped out of the tree and I went, yup, yup, which is Ewok language for yippee. And I said, on behalf of Neil, will you marry him? And thankfully she said yes. And then he came out from behind a bush.
I don't...
So the girl was in the park by herself. He's hiding behind a bush. He's not with her that day.
No.
You jump out of a tree dressed as an Ewok, saying yup yup, and she stayed still and waited to hear the rest of the sentence.
No, Neil and I had organised it. She always went this way home from work.
So she was walking home from work as well. She was
Yeah.
relaxing.
Was it after dark?
No, it was in the summer.
Okay.
So you knew she'd passed that particular tree.
Yes.
What was her name?
Tracy.
That is a name.
That is a name. Isn't it?
So you just walk away, leaving the two lovers together, and you just go home and feel...
That's an image, isn't it?
Mission
Them
accomplished.
kissing and in the distance, a little Ewok. He walks away like that,
So-
with a little wave,
Mission accomplished.
just as he goes over the horizon.
Yup.
My job here is done.
It's like
As he's giving out the leaflets for the local restaurant.
And did you get an invite to the wedding?
Yes, I did, yeah.
You did. Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
No.
There's no money in that.
And how did it come about? How did he get in touch with you? And
Well, Neil came to a Star Wars convention that I was at.
Right.
And I knew him when I was a kid. I didn't really remember him, but then when he asked me, look, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend, she's a huge fan, you know, and offered me some money to do it. I mean, I still...
That's what friends are for.
And had there been a progression of like, did he start with Han Solo and go, right, he doesn't want to do it?
All relationship starts with Han Solo.
Okay, well, let's move on to Paul. Now, Neil is your neighbour.
Yeah.
And he owns a parrot.
Yes.
Why does the parrot need walking?
It needs to get out in the fresh air.
So you walk down the road just with the parrot in a cage?
Well, he's actually got...
It's not great exercise for the parrot, that, is it?
No, it's to get the air. It's to get the air, and it keeps
Couldn't
them...
you just use a hairdryer?
What colour is the parrot?
Well, it's got a blue head and sort of bronzy
Brown.
wings.
Blue head, brown wings.
Yeah, a little dark
Sure,
down
it's
the
not
bottom.
a pigeon.
It's bright blue.
I mean, you seem to me too busy to be doing that as well. What does your neighbour do for a job?
Poor Warwick, but he doesn't seem too busy to be doing jumping out of trees.
I think you'd take it into the garden, just let it get some fresh air.
It's actually the movement. He wants to see where,
Well, you could walk around the garden, couldn't you?
He could do,
You know
but...
those washing lines on a pole that spin round? You could just attach it to that
And where would you go on this walk, Paul? Where?
We live in a village, and literally just up the lane, top, there's a little path which breaks out into the wheat fields, and literally, I don't go as far as I normally walk the dog, but about halfway up the field and back. He offered me to have this, it's like a haversack. It's weird. And it's got a connection, you can actually hold it on your back.
No way. In the cage?
In the cage.
Oh, I thought you meant without the cage, and I thought
Oh, no.
it could take off.
Now, what about Lee?
So, Lee, the Womble assault.
Yes.
Tell the story.
Well, there was a Womble, and I...
No, there wasn't. Wombles don't exist. It's a lie.
It's not an actual Womble, it's a toy Womble. And the story is I went away on holiday when I was 16, and it was me and Neil and another friend of ours, John, and we went to a little caravan site in Blackpool, and I took the Womble with me, because I had this Womble since I was a little kid. And I don't know why, but I took it on holiday with me, and when I opened the suitcase, them two mercilessly took the mickey out of me, and I said, that old thing, I don't even know how it got in there, and to prove my manhood, I got a pair of scissors, cut its ears off, and then burnt it on the fire, and was devastated, but I tried to show my manhood by just not being bothered. I don't bother about that, so...
Did you cry later on?
I was crying as I did it inside, but on the outside laughing. It's a bit like this show.
I will say, Lee, to me, you have never seemed more human. How did your friends react when you sliced up the Womble with the scissors? Did they go, yeah, you're a great lad, or were they?
You and your boy talk.
I know. Yeah.
It was a pretty rough, comprehensive you went to, wasn't it? Yes, they all said you are a great lad. Together, as they chanted and rang their bells at the same time. You are a great lad, a great lad. They danced around me and put up the maypole.
How did your friends react when they saw you? Did they sort of go, oh yeah, that's great, ha ha ha, he's one of the lads still? Or did they go, oh my God, he's a maniac?
Right. They're really having a bit of fun going, it's your Womble. They didn't expect me to go, no, it's not.
Yes, you burnt it
I burnt
as
his
well.
face against the fire in those.
Sorry, I'd forgotten that bit. Yeah. Priceless. I better burn its face so that I seem normal.
We need an answer, David. Is Neil Warwick's park proposer, Paul's parrot walking neighbour, or Lee's Womble witness?
Joan, what do you think?
Well, I think if I was a fan of Warwick and the show, I would think that would be quite a larky thing to do.
I genuinely hope it's not true about Lee, because I think that must have been a very upsetting thing.
Me too.
And then it must be very upsetting when the point came you realise you have to use that terrible moment in your past on a TV comedy show.
David, it is series 7. I'm getting desperate.
I know.
By series 23, I'll be going, I had to see a child psychologist because Mummy left.
Just go on the show with an eye patch on saying, I blinded myself in one eye before the show. Who knows? Will it be an eye or a wound? I think the parrot one is the least plausible for me.
I think Warwick's telling the truth. I think that's the closest to reality.
I hope it is.
I think I, too, think it's most likely to be Warwick that's telling the truth.
You think it's Warwick? You think it's the Ewok? It's the jumping out of the tree and the proposal?
That's what we're going with.
Right. Neil, would you please reveal your true identity?
Rob, my name is Neil, and I'm a friend of Lee's, and I witnessed the Womble assault.
I think I feel 1,000 years older.
Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, in which our panellists lie not only through their teeth but against the clock. And again, they don't know whether they're about to read out a true fact about themselves or a made-up lie they've never seen before. We start with... It's Joan.
For the last 30 years, my breakfast regime has never altered. I have 1 bowl of porridge, 1 large banana, and half a pint of lager.
Lee.
How much do we want this to be true?
It's healthy.
It really isn't. Sorry to break it to you, but porridge is not good for you. So for 30 years, why did you start, apart from emotional problems, drinking breakfast?
I had a bit of a thing about staying healthy as I got older. I thought it was important to have a routine, to have regular nourishment that answered many of the needs of the diet fads that were around at the time. And then, of course, once I started, I liked it.
Well, where did the alcohol come into it, though?
Well, you can't just have porridge by itself and banana. It's very dry. You have to have something to drink with it.
Are you seriously in a half pint glass or in a pint glass that's half full?
It's half a pound.
Have you got it on draft in the kitchen?
No, I don't do that. I buy lager like other people do in cans. I don't gulp it down. I
Sips
just
it like a
enjoy
lady.
it. I read The Guardian
The
while I'm...
potassium.
You read The Guardian with your half a lager.
The banana and the other one.
Exactly.
Forget the paper.
So when you go abroad, do you hunt down bananas and lager?
Yes, it's not difficult if you stay at the right places. It's not difficult to acquire lager anywhere in the world.
All hotels do have lager.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why specifically?
That's not the
half
bit
a
we're
lager?
doubting, David.
Well,
we're not doubting where you get them.
Porridge is also well known as a breakfast food. I don't see which of these
Actually,
three
I
things do you
disagree,
think
it
will be
isn't.
somehow unattainable
It's not
in the places you might go and stay on holiday or on business.
Some places you go to, you will find it difficult to find porridge.
Where?
Some of the Greek countries you'll find it difficult. In Cyprus, you'll have, I know, few
I have to
hotels.
say, I have
Is it
to...
the Greek countries? Like
Well, when
Greece?
that's not... That's not been... The problem that I've encountered is when I go to stay somewhere in which I've rented a villa or something,
Yeah.
and then I take porridge oats with me.
And beer.
And
Obviously
beer.
lager as well.
No, you can order that.
Where'd you go? And,
You can't order it in a villa.
No, you can't order it, but
Unless
you
you
can
open the
take
back
it.
door and scream,
You can-
I'm a heavy drinker, somebody help me. At 7 in the morning, I've got an hour! I need lager! Porridge and a banana. Thank you.
I have genuinely never been in a villa in another country when there hasn't also been lager there.
In the villa?
Yeah,
in the
but
villa.
that's not naturally occurring. But when people go on holiday, British people, they go on holiday, the first thing they do is they buy a load of lager.
Do you find yourself sometimes on a stressful week having quite a few breakfasts during the day? Were you in the green room before? What are you having for dinner, Joe? Oh, I'll just have another breakfast. I see porridge and banana. And, yes, another little half a lager.
Let me just say, Joan, whatever it is that you do, it's working because
Thank you.
you look fantastic. You see, that's how you talk to a lady. Now, Lee, what are you thinking?
She couldn't understand a word you said. She's drunk.
Is it the truth or is it a lie? Time to decide.
I think she looks great, and that's why I don't think she drinks half a lager. Because look at me,
yeah.
I do drink lager every night, and I'm 24. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie.
Let's go for a lie.
So you're going to say it's a lie?
I'll say it's a lie.
OK, they're saying it's a lie. Joan, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
Yes, it was a lie. For the last 30 years, Joan's breakfast regime hasn't been one bowl of porridge, one large banana, and a half a pint of lager. Next, it's Lee.
I can smell if there is a dead fly in the room. Can I just say, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I can smell a dead fly in the room.
So, it's what you're saying, that if there isn't a dead fly in the room, you have no sense of smell?
No, that's not what I'm saying. And you know damn well that's not what I'm saying, David. No, I can smell if there is a dead fly in the room. I can smell the dead fly.
So is there a dead fly in here?
Hold on. No, I can't smell a dead fly in this room, obviously. This is what
there
we
is
call a
no-
normal-sized room.
I
is it?
see.
Okay, well-
A room in my house.
How do you prove this? Do you actually sniff it out? Can you actually, like a sniffer dog, you actually find the dead fly with your nose? Or you just go...
No.
Is
I
there a
never,
dead fly
I
in
never
here?
told you I could find them.
You can't locate it, you just know it's somewhere within the walls.
Well, not within the wall.
I'm not talking about flies that might have been killed by a serial killer and then sort of plastered in.
Yeah. I can't smell them. I
No,
can't smell
no.
them. No, definitely not.
Right, OK.
But you can't locate them, you just know there's somewhere
I
in
can
the
smell
room.
if there's a dead fly in the room.
So where...
How can you put it to the test? Because you might have been in a room in which there was a dead fly and you have not smelt it and said there is no dead fly in this room. And people have believed you, and yet
I've gone with-
lurking in the corner.
It's a good question, Joan. It's a very good question, and I wish that I had a good answer. Just by the law of averages, there's been too many times when I've gone in a room and gone, there's a dead fly in this room, and quite often we will see the dead fly.
What do you mean
Doesn't
quite often?
I'm
It
not-
has to be always. It has to be always.
I can smell if there's a dead fly in the room, so I will go in and go, I think there's a dead fly in the room. That's just a polite way of talking, David. I don't go, there is a dead fly in the room! It's a fact every time!
This room
Soft,
is a
no way,
disgrace!
I talk more softly than you, David. I have a softer... I don't show off about my talents. I
Okay.
walk in a room and I go, I think there's a dead fly in this room. In fact, no, I think you'll find there is definitely. There always is. There always is.
What does the dead fly smell of?
It's a smell that I wouldn't want to describe to a friend.
Try. Imagine you're a wine connoisseur.
Right.
It's the smell of a dead
I'm
fly.
getting...
Yeah, what are you getting?
I'm getting a bit of wing. I'm getting another wing. And how many wings of flies? Was it 2 or 4? 4. Another wing. And no, wait. There's only 3 wings. I think I know how this fly died.
You've not really described the smell there.
No,
You've described the body parts of a fly while making sniffing noises.
Well, I can't. You know, I'm a professional. You're an amateur. I'm trying to say it in layman's terms.
Well, earlier on, I was... I came to see you in your dressing room to say hello, and I had a little look in the window, and only now I'm thinking there was a dead fly in there and you never mentioned it.
Before you came, and I went, smell of fly. But I found that smell was soon overpowered, Jason.
David, time to make your mind up. Is he telling the truth? Is that whole fly-smelling thing real?
Well, let us pay him the respect of pretending to consider it. You don't believe him
I
when he
do
says...
not believe him.
Well, I think lie.
You think lie, you're saying lie. OK. Lee, were you telling the truth, or was that a lie?
I've actually started believing it myself. It's a lie.
Yes, it was a lie. Lee can't smell if there's a dead fly in the room. Well, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that Lee has triumphed by 3 points to 2. Unheard of. But it's not just a team game. My individual liar of the week this week is Warwick Davis. Yes, Warwick Davis. Who would have thought it? An Ewok who tells lies. Whatever next, Yoda trying to sell us mobile phones. Good night.
That Friday night feeling, have I got news for you with guest presenter Robert Lindsay next here on BBC One. Benedict Cumberbatch is Sherlock over on BBC Three now, whilst on BBC Four archive footage captures a musical revolution, the sounds of the 50s in rock and roll Britannia.